Bada 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 bee ba boo body doo. What is up, y'all? Philyfli Show checking in here, kicking in at Right Way Production Studios, and we are back. 1 week small hiatus because the UFC did not have an event last weekend for 4th of July, which I was very upset with. Top Rank Boxing had an event, and I actually liked it. Wow, that was a complete shocker, if y'all know. I'm kind of labeled as a boxing hater. It's not about that I hate boxing. It's because of the promotions. Why I dislike a lot of boxing and why I just don't. It's just too hard to follow for me. But that's not what this is about. This is a UFC show. I was just giving respects to Top Rank because, hey, it was a good event that weekend. Shakir Stevenson fight wasn't as good as everyone thought it was going to be, but hey, that's the way he fights and that's the way he's always going to fight. So let's jump into the real UFC. We did have an event of UFC pay-per-view 303 2 weeks ago, and the Philyfli Show always does a quick recap on what it does so that everyone knows that we're hitting the numbers and that we don't fake our shows to get better numbers. Because I've listened to a couple shows where I listen to what they pick and then they change it when they do a recap and they're like, "Oh, I did so good." Philyfli Show does not do that. We are real and we are live. But it was Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka, UFC 303. There were 13 fights on there. I am going to count that Diego Lopez fight as a fight on here with Dan Ige. But the Philyfli Show put it out the day before, so the Philyfli Show had Diego Lopez versus T-City. Didn't know that fight was going to fall through like it did, and it did. It was unfortunate. Dan Ige came in and on like 2 to 4 hours notice and fought that fight and fought a decent fight. That was super awesome of him, but I'm gonna count that Diego Lopez one because I still would have picked Diego no matter what because that's my guy. So out of the 13 fights on there, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the 13 fights. So that's very, very positive and very good week for the UFC or Philyfli Show for the UFC pay-per-view 303, but that's not what we're here for, guys. Today's UFC event that we're going over is UFC Fight Night, Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Tracy Cortez is taking this fight on a 2-week notice, which I am not the biggest fan of for my girl Tracy, but it's a very big fight for her that she cannot pass up. All right. Now, there is 12 fights on here. I'm not going to get into the main event because we are going to save that for the end like we always do. We're going to get into match leg number 12 here. It's a welterweight fight between Evan Elder and Darius Flowers. Darius Flowers is a plus 315 underdog, whereas Evan is a negative 425 favorite. Yo, man, Evan Elder's got some very, very good skill for being an MMA prospect here. He's got 3 fights in the UFC, but hey, he's still going to show up. He's still going to do it. That negative 425, though, I have seen it drop a little bit everywhere else because people are jumping on Darius Flowers with that odds. If you want to do that, you can do that, but I am not the biggest fan of that. I'm going Evan Elder to win that fight. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that he gets his hand raised after that fight. All right, match leg number 11 is a middleweight fight, and it is a pick-em down the middle. We got Josh Frem versus Andre Petroski. Dude, Andre has not looked good in his last couple fights. Josh Frem, he might be a little bit of a roller coaster, but he always shows up. I don't understand how this is a severe pick'em like it is. I just don't see Andre Petroski having a shot here on a win, but it's not very confident level that I do. I am picking Josh Frem with that negative 110 pick'em because the odds are just too good to pass up, and I think Josh wins that fight. 1 out of 5 on the confidence level if Josh gets his hand raised after the fight. All right, match leg number 10, we jump to the female flyweight division. It is Luana Santos versus Mariana Akapova. Dude, Akapova had some surgence in the UFC. I thought she was going to be one of these next up-and-coming champions, but she just keeps coming up short in the bigger names. With Luana Santos, man, this is not a good fight for her. It's not a good matchup. Luana is a negative 400 favorite, whereas Mariana is a plus 300 underdog. I do not think Mariana has a shot at winning, but she's got class and she's a good fighter, so she's always got a shot. But personally, I'm not betting on her. I'm going Luana all day. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that Luana gets her hand raised. All right, match leg number 9 here. We'll jump back into the male division. This is a don't blink, or what Dana White calls don't miss fight. Well, Dana White, I don't know if he called this fight, but this is the don't miss fight on this whole card. I am so big on both these guys. I could barely even pick a winner out of here. We got Montel Jackson versus Damon Blackshear in the bantamweight division. Damon is a plus 120 underdog, whereas Montel Jackson is a negative 140 favorite. You can literally go whatever way you want on this, guys, but don't blink, don't miss this fight. One of the best fights you'll see on the prelims. I am going Montel Jackson to win it. I just think he's got a little bit of the edge in the MMA skill set, but I could be wrong because this is the fight game and you ain't always right. So yeah, we got a good fight there. Don't miss. 1 out of 5 though on the confidence level of Montel Jackson can get that job done, baby. All right, match leg number 8. We'll jump back into the female flyweight division. We get Jasmine Yadavushes versus Fatima Klein. Now, Klein is a plus 100 underdog, whereas Yasmin is a negative 120 favorite. Look, Yasmin has got some crazy, crazy good skill for MMA. She's got boxing, she's got striking, she's got grappling. She can almost do it all, and she has already beat one of these up-and-comers. For sure, she beat Miranda Maverick, but she lost to Tracy. Yeah, she lost to Tracy Cortez, though. So, the flyweights, they're all fighting. Their top competitors are always taking on more top competitors. With this fight here, I do see it close, but Klein is making her UFC debut, so it's no easy slouch to do what she's going to do. But I'm going Yasmin. I just think she's got more of a skill set that can win this fight. And if it goes to a point fight, it goes to a point fight. I think Jasmine wins that fight. So that's who I picked. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level that she gets her hand raised after that fight. Now, match leg number 7 is a feature prelim bout. It is in a flyweight men's division. It is Joshua Van versus Charles Johnson. Charles Johnson's a plus 200 underdog, whereas Joshua Van's a negative 245 favorite. Dude, Joshua Van he's gonna be a top 5 flyweight no matter what. If you haven't watched this fight, don't miss them. The flyweights have been bringing it. They have the craziest energy levels. Joshua Van's got knockout power for flyweight division. That's why he's a negative 245 favorite. I can't say much more beyond that. I really, really like this kid, and I think he's going to be champion, or at least minimum top 5 competitor in the flyweight division. Joshua Van's getting his hand raised on Saturday, and 3 out of 5 on the confidence level, he wins that fight. And that is your feature prelim bout. We'll jump to the main card here. It's a middleweight bout between Abdul Razak Ali Hassan versus Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage is a plus 140 underdog. Ali Hassan is a negative 170 favorite. Look, man, I like Cody, but he just kind of seems like a punching bag for the UFC. If he does not get a win here, I don't see him staying in the UFC longer because he's just gatekeeping at this point, getting the up-and-comers good fights and making some headway. He did lose to my mind's blanking. I'm not being able to tell you right now because my mind is completely blanking on who he just fought. Oh man, he's the middleweight guy that everyone's been high. Man, I'm not even gonna try it when my mind's blanking like that. But anyways, Cody Brundage is gonna lose. I feel like Ali Hassan knocks him out, but Ali Hassan's on the old side, so if that gas tank ain't there, man, Cody could turn it up on him, but I just don't see that happening. I'm going Ali Hassan, 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He gets his hand raised. I actually have a lot of 3 out of 5s on this card, so there's a lot of good fights to bet on this card. If you haven't noticed, anything 3 or higher means I like to bet on it. So that's the way I look at it with the advantage. All right, matchup number 5 is a featherweight bout. We got Julian Erosa versus Christian Rodriguez. Erosa is a plus 195 underdog. Christian Rodriguez, negative 240. Jeez, I cannot get on here. I'm having tongue tie here. My bad, guys. Christian, man, for being one of these up-and-coming featherweights, for him to get this fight, I like Julian Erosa. He's still dangerous on grappling. He can fight. He's a good MMA vet. But he is not winning this fight, man. Christian Rodriguez has got too much skill in those hands. And I just think he lets it go. I'm giving him a 3 out of 5 confidence level that Rodriguez gets his hand raised after the fight. Match leg number 4, I forgot to write down the weight class, but we get Gabriel Bonfim versus Ange Lusa. Now, Ange was supposed to be coming in as like a good prospect, but he just hasn't showed it for me yet. It is a welterweight fight, guys, just so you know. Bonfim, though, is a sensation that everyone wants to come and see. If you haven't seen him fight yet, he's got crazy good grappling skills, and he's adding power, striking to his game. I wouldn't miss this fight because Lusa is a striker's delight for me. This is going to be a good fight. Bonfim's a negative 340 favorite, whereas Lusa is a plus 260 underdog. You can go whatever route you want, but Bonfim is not losing a fight to me. 3 out of 5 on the confidence level. He gets his hand raised after the fight. All right, match leg number 3 is a lightweight bout. We just got this fight announced last week, and you'll understand why once I say this name. Drew Dober versus Jan Silva. Now, if you're like, ooh, this Jan Silva guy, he sounds really familiar. If you look at his face and you're like, oh, man, I feel like he just fought at UFC 303, guys, and got a big win. I voted against him, yes, unfortunately, but Jan Silva got me as a fan. I like his mentality. I like his fight game, and I like just a lot about him. And you're taking this fight on short notice against a guy like Drew Dober. Not always the best scenario, but guess what? Drew Dober he's a roller coaster too, so it's not like you can't win this fight. Man, they had Drew Dober negative 105, Jan Silva negative 115. I didn't just go with the favorite because it really isn't a favorite. It's more of a pick 'em. But I'm going Jan Silva, man. I don't think Drew's going to respect him. I think Drew's going to go in and try to strike with him, and that's going to be the end of the night for Drew if he tries to strike with him. Now this turns into a grappling match. I didn't get to fully see Jan Silva's grappling skills when he's on the defensive, so I don't know what that's going to be like, but if that is what it is, you might want to lean on the Drew Dober side, but I'm picking Jan Silva here. I'm not confident on it. I'm only 1 out of 5, but that's because he's fighting a killer in Drew Dober, and that's a good fight. That's one of those don't miss fights, but those are big names, so I don't say don't miss on those. I like to say don't miss on the up-and-coming prospects that you cannot miss out on. You know what I mean, y'all? All right, co-main event of the evening. Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Muslim Salikov. Dude, man, Salikov, if he don't get a win, he's out of the UFC. He's also 40 years old, so I kind of understand why if he loses, he's out of the UFC. Yeah, but Ponzinibbio is not much older or younger than him. He's only 37. He is 37 years old, not only, but in MMA math, 37 sometimes not the best side of you. We have seen some good fights out of Pons lately after he came back, but I don't know who's going to show up this fight. Muslim's a plus 160 underdog. Santiago Ponzinibbio, negative 190. I'm going Ponzinibbio, but I'm only 2 out of 5 confidence level that he gets his hand raised. This is going to be a close fight, I think, just because of age, man. I think the age is the only thing that's going to play into that. And then we get our main event of the evening, Rose Namajunas versus Tracy Cortez. Rose is a negative 235 favorite. Tracy's a plus 190 underdog. Look, man, Tracy has got that MMA skill set that takes down veterans like Rose Namajunas. Also, Rose Namajunas, who does she struggle against? People who can grapple and strike at the same time who are good at it. That's who she's struggled against. She got a nice win against Amanda Ribas, her last fight in the flyweight division. She thinks she's a flyweight competitor. I haven't fully seen it yet. I haven't seen the old Rose. I've only seen the new Rose. The new Rose I'm not the biggest fan of. She doesn't let her hands go. But if she lets her hands go in this fight, it could be a bad night for Tracy Cortez. But here's the thing, man. Tracy, like I said, she'll grapple. She'll strike. She's a dog. She wants this fight. Man, this is a Tracy Cortez house. This is also a Rose Namajunas house. Those are both my females. I like both of them. I'm picking Rose because of her knowledge in MMA. Tracy Cortez has fought up-and-coming prospects. They're good girls. She's beat some good ones. But she hasn't faced an elite-level talent like Rose Namajunas. So, and especially taking the fight on 2 weeks short notice, I'm rooting for Tracy Cortez. Do not get me wrong. I'll be screaming for her the whole fight. But Rose, I think Rose wins the fight. I think Rose edges her in a point fight, and I think this goes the distance, unfortunately. for us. We all want to see a finish, I know, but this fight's probably going the distance, and we're going to see who is the dog in that ring. All right, y'all. I actually am really satisfied with how long this podcast is. It's on the 15-minute mark right now, which is perfect. I'm not out here trying to make some ridiculous long shows and break everything down. I'm here to get you some money, win some money for us average Joes, and guess what? The Philyfli show will be here next week and the week after for these big up-and-coming UFC events that are coming up. We got a pay-per-view at the end of the month, and next week we got an Apex fight that I'm not going to fully say right now. Actually, you know what? We can. Amanda Lemos versus Yarno Jambrota. Very good fights on there. But there's very good fights this week. Do not miss this Denver UFC card. And share this with your homies. And shout out to Right Way Production Studios for always making this dream happen. Let's go, baby. And we will see you next week for the Philyfli show. Peace out.